Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler, and what you're looking at it's Injustice 2 on the Xbox One X Enhanced, and I must say I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed on just how razor sharp, Gillette razor sharp this game looks, and constant 60 frames per second on top of a very stunning HDR. You also have an option on this game to customize your HDR and to also calibrate your HDR. I'm not going to do that on this video. I might do that on some other video to show you how to calibrate that peak brightness, but this is a very stunning looking fighting game. And is this better than PlayStation 4 Pro? Well, absolutely yes. And you're gonna ask, well, why? Well, simple, because PlayStation 4 Pro only handles 1440p at 60 frames per second with HDR. When you add a higher resolution with more pixels, then you're gonna have much sharper, cleaner, detailed game. So when you are playing this version, which is 2880 by 1620, and keep in mind that's a native source of 2880 by 1620, meaning 1620 pixels. That's a hell of a lot more pixels than what you get with 2560 by 1440. Now, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with having a 1444p, but considering that you have an option here, alternative option, where you can have a 1620p, then of course you're gonna go with a PlayStation, with an Xbox One X version. And believe me, Xbox One X version, it's really sharp. My camera here, it's really not doing much of a justice. You have to see this for yourself. Okay, and it loads pretty quick. There's barely any lag. It runs really smooth, you know, until you actually download. When you download the game and when you put it the controller in your hands, and when you start playing, and then you realize, oh, I see what Mr. 4K Upscaler is talking about. You know, my camera here, it's impossible to depict, and it's impossible to do it justice. I'm not doing it justice for this game by doing this via camera, even though I'm using a GoPro Hero 5 camera, okay, with steady 60 FPS and the highest possible bit rate. But until you see this in person, and until you see this HDR and this native 1620p resolution, then you're going to realize, oh my God, the higher the pixel density ratio is, the better the detail, the sharper the detail, you know. And you really see everything, you know, at this kind of resolution with HDR and steady 60 frames per second. It's really just glorious. So this is yet another example as to why you bought Xbox One X. You know, this is yet another example. And there are so many enhanced games out there available right now on the Xbox One X for you guys to truly immerse yourself and put that 4K television with HDR to use. You know what I mean? And it really looks great, man. Like that, it's smooth and it's sharp. Like I said earlier, I mean, my camera here, it's really not doing it justice. You have to see this in person. Just fluidity, how fast it is, and also just how sharp it is. Maybe I can bring my camera a little bit closer so you guys can see it a little bit better. I'll try to keep it a little bit closer so you guys can see a little bit better. But you'll just have to take my word for it. This is a stunning looking version of Injustice 2. If you have PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X, which version should you go? Well, this is no brainer. This is a higher resolution with a steady 60 FPS and of course HDR. On top of all the other graphical enhancements, they're pretty much identical to the PlayStation 4 Pro, but however, you're not going to see that detail on a 1440p as you are going to see it here on a native source of 2880 by 1620. And now you're going to say, well, how do you know that it's 2880 by 1620? It's because I already went to, I'm a member of Digital Foundry, and Digital Foundry has already scaled the resolution to see what the source output is, and it's being scaled to native source of 1620. That's a native source, 2880, 1620, okay? That's not an upscaled source. That's a native source of 2880 by 1620 being upscaled to 4K, all right? I don't want you guys to get confused with that. When they say a native source, they mean that's exactly the source you're getting of 2880 by 1620. And then you upscale that to 4K to fit 8 million pixels, and then you add HDR with 60 frames per second, and this is the end result that you're gonna get. And it really looks stunning on this TV, honestly, it really does. It's really fluid and fast. I do have my Auto Motion Plus on, so that way I can enjoy a better soap opera effect here, a much smoother experience, you know. And these are my settings. Let me show you really quick. I'm using a standard mode, and I'm using backlit maximum, contrast maximum, brightness 50, sharpness 23, color 63, digital clean view, auto motion plus auto, smart LEDs high, and dynamic contrast off. Color tone warm 1, gamma leave it at 0, and color space automatic. And here, as you can see, runs really smooth. There we go. I don't know if this camera that I'm using, GoPro Hero 5, is going to do any justice, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Believe me, I'm not doing any justice here for Injustice. You'll just have to take my word for it. Once you see it on the Xbox One X, on your big screen, on your 4K television, the level of sharp detail is just gonna blow you away. And HDR with that resolution is just perfect. At constant 60 frames per second, man. And it just looks ridiculous with a 60 FPS here. And you can even see it here, how HDR it's taking the effect, because this game, it's really made for the HDR because it has the dark areas and light areas. Okay, the environments, it's set in at night, and then vibrant lights, and then in some cases it's set to all these other remote exotic locations. So there's a lot of dark and light and vibrant color. When you have light and dark and vibrant color, then you're getting that deep dark levels with the contrast and then with the color, and that's where HDR truly breathes, on those three elements, you know. Let me show you one more demo right here. I'll do some more videos on Injustice 2. I'm gonna do HDR calibration on it. Okay, this is just my first look. I want to show you just my thoughts on it and how I feel about it, but you'll have to take my word for it. It just looks, it looks great, man. Like I said, you know, it's smooth, fluid, sharp, and I know I repeat myself way too many times. But if I do that, I do that not to be annoying, but I just do that to let you know that I'm really excited about how beautiful this game looks, and you should be excited too. And you should be excited to even have Xbox One X. You're really getting a lot of value with the Xbox One X, honestly. I have spent $500 on some other bullshit on some devices that I regret. But Xbox One X was definitely the sweetest $500 I ever spent, honestly. And there's really on it, guys. You know, you really shouldn't be sticking around with the S version. Just trade in your S version, pay half a price or quarter of a price, get yourself Xbox One X, man. They have plenty of it in stock. Get yourself Xbox One X and enjoy the games the way they were meant to be enjoyed, man. You owe it to yourself, man. You earned it, right? Don't you work too hard? Yeah. You work hard, you earn it. Treat yourself, man. And here's yet another example of HDR here, and it just looks beautiful. Just looks phenomenal. Let's do one more demo here really quick. Maybe we'll see Batman or Joker or something. Like I said, there will be more videos of this. This is just my very first look into the game. So remember, the resolution, native source resolution, is 2880 by 1620. That's being upscaled to 4K, and it's a steady 60 FPS with a very good HDR10. And oh, there's Joker. And one beautiful thing about HDR10 on this game is you can adjust high dynamic range and calibrate high dynamic range, peak brightness, depending on what type of TV do you have. Obviously, if your TV can handle over 1000 nits, then you can go higher, you know. But if your TV doesn't handle anything above 1000 nits, then you should stay at lower peak brightness. So anyway, there's the video. There will be more of this. There will be some calibrations and whatnot. Stay tuned for my next video. My next video is going to be The Witcher 3 Complete Edition. And I'm going to talk about The Witcher 3 and why is, to me personally, the best version to go with. The Xbox One X version of The Witcher Complete Edition. It's the best version, and I will explain why it's the best version. That will be my next video. There will be a comparison between the NBA 2K18 and PlayStation 4 Pro NBA 2K18. We'll talk about some differences here and there. There are not that many, but there's some, and I will do that video where I will talk about that as well. So, but anyway, my next video is gonna be The Witcher 3 Complete Edition and why you should buy The Witcher 3 Complete Edition on Xbox One X Enhanced. So, as promised, I'm bringing you guys all of these enhanced games. So, there you have it.